Morning fellas, this is a newspaper called the Huddersfield Daily Examiner. It's the local paper from up Huddersfield, Leeds, Halifax. I've been up there many times. It's not my neck of the woods, but it used to be a lovely area of the UK. It was well known historically for milling, working with cloth and what have you. Same as Rotherham, really, in the cotton boom of, late 1800s. Anyway, Tommy Robinson, our hero. I'd like to say personal thanks to all you guys in the US and Germany and Canada and everywhere that sent some money towards his fighting fund. He's not out of the woods yet, but I think if they send him to jail for a long period, there's going to be hell to pay, basically. They're really going to show themselves for the anti-white, anti-British people, racist they really are. If the state go with throwing him in jail for reporting on rapists of 11-year-old girls, for God's sake, of our kids. Anyway, several cases going on in Yorkshire, as Tommy mentioned, outside Leeds Crown Court. There was 27 men and 2 women he reported on. That's what he was sent down for, falsely, of course. The only thing he did wrong there was that he got a couple of them on camera for a few seconds. Apart from that, all the information which he spoke about the trafficking, about the age of the 11 to 17-year-old girls who they did attack, and they passed around, and as the Daily Telegraph said once about Rotherham, they treated them like toilet paper, like shit, basically. Yes, Huddersfield Examiner, very good local paper. These do show the pictures of the convicted quite often. 10 men deny 100 charges of rape, sex abuse. There's 31 men as well who may have already have been charged. 30 men, and 1 woman in another case. This isn't the Tommy case, this is yet another case. Because give the police and the CPS the due, they're finally trying to tackle this issue. I don't think they'll stop it, because it's in their holy book. They're allowed to do this. Please try, I might try and put a link underneath if it doesn't get the video took off. This ideology has never been anything to do with peace. Why do you think the whole of the Middle East was Christian for 600 years before this monster Mo raised his ugly head in 627 AD? Why do you think it was Christian, and then suddenly, over the course of like 50 years, it became Islamic? Because they used to do blitzkrieg attacks on horseback with cavalry on undefended civilian villages. And they're great, as with the Israelis, they're great at massacring civilians, but when they're up against like battle-hardened, determined soldiers, like our Christian Crusaders, like Richard the Lionheart, you just felt like women, basically. I won't go on about that too much, but it's amazing, like the falsehoods we've been told. These Crusaders were rescuing people from torment, from having the kids taken as sex slaves. But historically, in Google, US or whatever, they were all bad guys. Bad guys, my ass. Anyway, Operation Tendency. Oh yes. Here we are. We've got some brief pictures here. There we go. And it was from 12-year-old. This was 12-year-old girls. 10 men due before Leeds Crown Court charged with a string of sex abuse offences against girls in Huddersfield. The men are among 29 people, including 2 women. This will be the Tommy gang, yes, who were arrested as part of Operation Tendency, accused of rape, sex abuse. It's not just the sex abuse, the fact that they're raping every whole of these poor young kids, usually virgins, usually innocent girls. That's what they target, because their prophet likes little boys and little girls. It's in their book. And most of them don't know it. There's a section where he was proved to have, how can I put it, orally abused at least 2 little boys called Hassan and Hussein. This was taken out of their book, of course. It doesn't read too good, does it? This wonderful man abusing boys in front of witnesses. Seriously. Our reporter Stephanie Finnegan is at court. You see, the thing is, it's a horrendous violence. They put these girls, all of them, on the threat of murder. There's one documentary called The Betrayed Girls, which tries to paint the EDL and the BNP, all right-wing organisations here, tries to paint them as bad guys, but actually it was only the BNP, an English Defence League that Tommy used to lead years ago, who would say a dicky bird about this, as with Tommy now. Nobody will report it. You'll notice on that case that Tommy tried to report on, where they arrested him for, and he did get some images of the guys, all that information was in the public domain, just like this is. It's all got the names. Amir Singh, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's got the names and everything on, as a matter of public record. The case Tommy reported on that he got jailed for, I had actually Googled it like immediately after he did that video report, and all the names and the offences were listed. All the names and the offences that he spoke about attacking 11-year-old, 17-year-old girls, were all listed on the BBC website and by this paper, by this newspaper. So how did he do contempt of court? Ridiculous. They were, 10 men have denied 100 charges. Well, they would try and do that, wouldn't they? But fact of the matter is, they've got witness statements off like 12 and 14-year-old girls, tearful girls that have often got pregnant. They've had knives held to their throats. They've been raped every way imaginable. You know, it's such a tragedy. You know, got all these nice young girls, nice young white girls who started their life and have been duped by these liars, these drug dealers, these violent savages. I mean, I'm sure, like a lot of you guys, I've been a young guy and with sweet, innocent girls, and it's scary. It's scary business for any young girls to trust a man enough to go the whole hog, shall we say. It's, you know, it's very scary. I mean, what this does to a girl psychologically when they've been subjected to abuse like this, I hesitate to think. This could be why they turn into like lesbians and why they turn into like very angry young women, because of what's been done to them. So here we are. Amir Singh Dhaliwal, Zubair Ahmed, Zahid Hassan, Muhammad Kamer, Naham Muhammad, Hamza A. Salim, Ifran Ahmed, Abdul Rahman, Muhammad Aslam, Raj Singh Bazran, he's actually got his address there. He pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of touching and rape. Probably the girls, if they've been clever, they've probably actually kept their underwear. And there's one thing I will tell you about. I've got a relation who's an NHS nurse, and she's been an NHS nurse, registered nurse, works with terminal care, works with obstetrics, and as well as seeing this horrific, what you Americans call beaver slashing, beaver hacking, done with razor blades and knives and glass, whatever's lying around. This is where young girls get their most sensitive parts, so we say, excised by force. Oh, here we are. Yeah, here's some of them. She sees it every day, and it's like 95% of these girls from this ideology have already had their private parts slashed to bits to make them numb, to take away any normal sensitivity, which helps a girl. I'm sure it does help a girl, you know, get with a guy, helps a girl have satisfactory, bearable sex with a guy. But these guys are too scared of these girls might, you know, play with themselves or have any normal kind of, you know, young girls playtime, should we say. They slash it all out with razor blades. They hold the legs open and slash it all out with razor blades. Go on to, if you don't believe me, go on to onto YouTube, right, and put in FGM, Foxtrot Golf Mike, in Egypt. Put that in, and there's a picture of a guy, an older guy, stood there, and you can actually hear the screams of this poor girl. And this is what they're doing in the USA, in New York or Canada. They're holding them down and they're slashing the doodads to bits. And sometimes in type 3, I think it is, they even stitch it up with string. They really do. I mean, this is how bestial and how savage these buggers are. And there's another one, proudly displaying his face. It doesn't look too inbred, him, I must admit. Yeah, see, so there's nothing. I mean, these guys will have already gone to jail, I'm sure. But the Huddersfield Examiner hasn't been, you know, taken to court. Here's other name, Zubair Ahmed. So I think these are the same guys, actually. can tell from the dates, really. It sounds like the same crew that Tommy reported on. So are they going to knock on my door for republishing this? It's in the Examiner. I mean, the trial's finished now, I suppose. You are supposed to wait till the trial's finished before you publish information, which Tommy didn't do. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, Tommy is a well-motivated father and a very brave patriot, in my view. And he's doing what all the mainstream media, the MMM, has failed to do for decades. So there we go. So here are the dirty, filthy paedophiles who happen to belong to one certain ideology, all of them. There's not one Christian among them, Christian-based guy, European-based guy amongst them. And so these are the perverts that Tommy is being took to court for again. But they hadn't, you know, they didn't see anything wrong with attacking 11 and 14-year-old girls, breaking them in, you know, putting them under threat of life, holding razor blades and guns to their throats. There's been cases in the past where they've put petrol, gasoline, what you call, American guys call gas. They've put gas on them and said, look, if you don't take me in the Orley, you know, I'm going to set you alight. And in Telford recently, just a few months ago, there was a case where these paedophiles and often drug dealers, we don't mention this in the papers, often they boost their wages and afford posh cars, nice cars, Audis and that, by selling drugs, crack and heroin. So they've always got heroin handy to dose the girls up. So like 20 of them can screw it. Oh my God, how disgusting are they? It's not very hygienic, is it? So I'm convinced these are the gang that Tommy wanted to show us. Or they're very similar gangs. There's so many gangs of them. You know, their ideology allows them to attack our kids, to kill us, to take our houses. This is indeed is what they've done for 1400 years and ran the entire human slave trade. I forget to tell you about Google. Okay, see you guys.